My name is Pancho. So I do a lot of abstract, I guess you could say, a lot of art brunt type style art. Big influence was like Basquiat, you could say.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, what type of medium do you use then for your art?
I, it depends. Sometimes it gets a mixed media. Sometimes I use acrylic. Sometimes I use fabric. Sometimes I use oils. I put them all together at times. It works out. I like them.
Okay.
People like them.
So
Pretty
do you
good.
kind of just like experiment with a
In
bunch
a
of
sense.
and
Yeah, yeah. In a
real to
sense,
just
yeah.
figure out like
Sometimes, yeah.
what works.
Right, 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 right.
Okay, okay, sweet.
I like them. I like the paintings to be like one of a kind. You know, I don't like them to all be the same. Like if they have, um, I want them to all tell a different story. I don't want them to all be the same every time. If that makes sense,
Yeah,
because then it gets kind of like boring and stale a little bit.
yes.
Yeah, I guess like skulls are my go-to,
Mm-hmm.
but like I at least try to change something up. Like it's not every skull is the same, or I change the angle. I use a lot of different palettes too. I don't keep it like the same. You know, like I guess black and white is really I like using that, but even then it gets really stale with just two colors. You know.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that you make, like changing the palette because it
Oh,
can literally change like the whole image.
absolutely, absolutely,
That's
for
really
sure. It takes a whole different like oh, it's so good. It's so good. I want to show you this other piece here. I'm working on one here. I'll show you. So I got like inspired from this Japanese artist that passed away
oh,
not
that's
too long
so
ago,
cool. Yeah, yeah,
and yeah, it's like so I use bubble wrap for the background or whatever, and then I still have to go over with some black, but
yeah.
it's almost done. But it looks really really good so far.
No, that's really cool
Yeah.
because especially with like the bubble wrap, it definitely added like texture of it to
Oh,
your.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
yeah, that's sweet though. And I like no, I like when you use like multiple canvas pieces to like pull it all together. I think that's
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I like really big pieces, but sometimes if I put small pieces together to get a really big piece and make it more intricate, I
yeah,
take more time with it, you know? And like, it's really hard sometimes because I get stuck on pieces. Like, I get it really, like, it takes me a long time to build something up. And then, like, if I don't like it or if have a hard time with it, I'll just start over. And it kills me sometimes because I really like it, you know? But
yeah.
it's like, is somebody else going to like it? Like, I don't know. I think about that a lot too. So.
So how did you get into art?
Um, how did I get into art? My
Or
pops
and you can
actually.
include like when you started too. So
I guess like it was there throughout my whole life. My brother did like he did dirty tattoos when he was younger. Like I saw that, I saw that, and that was pretty cool. I like didn't know that was a thing that you could do. He was probably what early 20s. I was probably like 10 seeing this, so like that took a big impression on me. Seeing my dad just draw something on a whim that I wanted was really cool. Like being really little and just being like, oh, I want Spider-Man or like Wolverine drawn up, and he would just do it really quick. And like I'd just be so amazed at that. I'd be like, bro, how do you do this? Like, how are you not getting paid for this?
yeah.
So it was just really cool. And then like I guess like that's how I fell in love with it. And I don't know, it's stuck ever since.
Now I guess to go into like the whole creativity during quarantine,
Mhm.
how has it impacted your ability to create, would you say?
I'd say like I don't know, just because like people were treating it differently, you know, saying like, oh, if you're an artist or like if you have like a craft or something, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
And like, at like the first couple weeks, like I was having a really hard time like processing like I don't know, just like I had a lot on my plate and like had to deal with a bunch of like and I was just like, man, like what can I do? Like what is it like that I can put on canvas that like means something to me during this time? And like I have like another piece that I don't have with me at this time, but like it was really telling of like the future and like what we're going through today. And like it was just crazy how I had it on canvas already. And I was just like, wow, okay, like that's interesting. And I was like, I just kept that, like it's still there. Like I haven't worked on it much because I don't know what to put on it, but I don't know. You'll see it soon. You'll like it, I think.
So I guess would you say, because you kind of talked about like getting inspiration and stuff, do you think you have been more inspired by like being in a pandemic, or do you think it's kind of like it just hasn't really impacted your inspiration and stuff like that?
I wouldn't say it impacted my inspiration. I guess it gives me more of like I'm getting paid to work on my art now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I look at it in that aspect and it feels really nice and really cool, I guess. but I don't know. There's just like a lot of crazy going on like in the world, but at
Yeah,
the same time, like I'm just working on art.
for real.
That makes sense, but there's just a lot of other things going on.
Do you think it kind of like would you agree with the statement that during this time if you're an artist it really like this is your time? Do you agree with that statement or like how do you feel about that?
I feel like you have a not a responsibility, but you have a lot to say. I feel like if you can express it in a certain way, and it can be really meaningful and really constructive,
Hmm.
or it can also be really deconstructive the way you go about it.
That is true. So kind of like it's how you interpret it and then
Right.
it in your art.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get that. That's sweet. You kind of talked about using like different kinds of materials,
Hmm.
like just experimenting with stuff like that. And would you say during quarantine you're still able to continue to do that, or would you say your resources are kind of limited now because of the whole quarantine and
Right, right, right. I
social
would say they are more limited, but at the same time, I try to work around that and give myself different outlets to work on. Like I'm working on jackets and like that too. So like it's just like I'm just trying to get my hands on everything and anything at this point, because it's just like I can't limit myself to just like canvases and like I got what is it? I don't know. I got like some that have like fabric on them right now that I'm sewing on them or whatever and getting help with them too. So like they're really cool. They're coming together. So it's just like at this point it's just like where else can I take a certain piece or like what can I do that people would like?
we kind of like talked about this here and there, but would you say your creative process and your designing process has changed during quarantine? Because sometimes it's kind of hard to get motivated to like
Right, right,
get
absolutely.
up and do stuff because you're just at home
Right.
the entire time. Would you say it's been difficult, or like have you been adjusting well?
I'd say like my creative process is so weird. Honestly, sometimes it's there. Sometimes I'm just boom boom. I'll just crank out like 7 pieces in a day. Sometimes it'll take months to even get one. Like so. It'll depend on the day. Honestly.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. I feel that much. Has this whole experience like taught you anything about yourself or
It. I'm not having a hard time.
no, that's a good thing.
Like I don't understand like these people like I guess I see it in like a lot of older people that like I guess need work to live, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like they need that schedule. I mean like money is a thing that people need to live.
Yeah.
But like people have set routines and like if they don't have that, like you see them like freak out and it's just like
Yeah.
glad that's not me. I don't know. I'm just
Or you kind of like go with the flow.
yeah, literally. Just I've been keeping myself. It feels like I've been quarantined almost like half my life. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I guess this doesn't really relate to quarantine that much, but so there's some of your work that has you like write stuff on it. Where
Mhm.
would you say that inspiration comes from, or like what is your goal by putting those words on there? Because obviously it's a message, but
Right.
like
It just depends. Like, what do you take from it? Like, what do people take from it? I'm not gonna say like what I put it there for. It's just there.
oh,
Like, I feel like if I like tell people like what it's there for, it kind of like defeats the purpose of it being there.
okay. So you almost want to put it there. Like you obviously have your own reasons for putting those words there, but you,
Right.
in a sense, as an artist, want people to interpret it their way. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Pretty much?
Um, I mean, that can be said, and then also like if like if I guess if it relates to you, it relates to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, that's the best way to put it. If you take something away from it, if you think it doesn't look good, like that's on you, really, honestly.
Yeah. How would you say then you market yourself and like you?
Like, just through my like Instagram, really, like that's where I sell my stuff. Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time I sell it through there. Like friends that hit me up that want my stuff.
Mhm. Which I guess is good because that's not really impacted by this whole thing because everything's
Yeah.
online already.
No, yeah, everything's been online. What is it? I was gonna say, I got stickers as well, like a bunch of stickers. I've made those. I sold those off, and like what is it? I like stopped making them eventually, like sadly, because like everything closed down where I used to make them,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just gotta wait for that. And like I would have it drawn up in like my sketchbook, and like I would look through my drawings and be like, oh, that'd be a cool sticker that people would like.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. No, because I've definitely always been interested in
So
making.
like here, look, I got you. So I have one right here, and it's like laminated.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple more. So I have this one as
Dang,
well.
sweet.
And then there's like a Pancho one as well. It's just
Your kind of
backwards.
like your brand. It's like your logo. That can
Right,
be.
right, 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 right.
I've always been interested in like making stickers and stuff, but I never really know how. But that's
It's
sweet.
so much fun. It's so much fun.
That you okay, you mentioned having a sketchbook, and I know like a lot of artists during the whole like
Yeah.
creative process, you typically have a lot more ideas than you actually put out in the end.
Mhm.
Would
Right.
you like how do you decide then which ones you want to
Mhm.
kind of like make into a bigger thing, you know?
Sometimes I just like I freehand like my canvases, believe it or not. Like I'll just freehand them and like do it just based off the canvas. I won't have a sketch, and like I'll do it from that. Sometimes I'll have a reference and then do it from that, or put a sketch and a reference together and put it on the canvas. Or some of it'll be freehand, some of it will be from a sketch.
Okay,
So it just depends on how much I like a sketch or like what I want to
that's sweet. Okay. Thank you for taking the
do.
time to interview. I
Yeah,
think I got a lot of
absolutely.
information.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much.
Yes, no, your art is dope. So
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It means a lot. Trust me.
yeah.